When most traders step into the markets, they believe the chart is the battlefield. They stare at candles, indicators, patterns, and price zones as if every answer lies within the lines. I used to believe the same. I thought the next strategy, the next breakout formation, or the next indicator stack would unlock my consistency. But with every win that slipped through my fingers and every loss that hit harder than it should have, I realized something no chart could ever teach me: the market wasn't defeating me. My own mind was. Trading success doesn't come from predicting where the market will go. It comes from understanding how you respond to uncertainty, risk, and opportunity. The real war is not between you and the market. It's between your beliefs and your impulses, your discipline and your fear, your patience and your need for instant gratification. You cannot control the market, but you are fully responsible for your internal environment. And until that environment becomes stable, disciplined, and objective, no chart on earth can save you. There is a moment in every trader's journey where the external noise becomes too loud, signals conflict, setups blur, and every move feels wrong. That moment forces you into one of two paths: blame the system or look inward. The path of blame leads to endless strategy hopping. The path inward leads to transformation. When I finally chose the second path, everything changed. I stopped asking, "What is the market doing wrong?" and started asking, "What am I not yet seeing about myself?" Victory came the day I understood that the market does not reward intelligence. It rewards psychological balance. It rewards those who can remain neutral in moments of chaos, those who can accept risk without emotional disturbance, and those who can act on their plan without slipping into fear or euphoria. The charts showed the structure, but my mindset determined my behavior within that structure. If my inner world was scattered, I saw noise. When my mind became structured, the chart finally made sense. Every trader thinks they need more knowledge, more indicators, more confirmation. But what they truly need is clarity, and clarity is a psychological state, not a technical one. When you are stable inside, your perception sharpens. You stop forcing trades. You stop fighting trends. You stop turning small losses into disasters because your ego refuses to accept being wrong. Instead, you begin to flow with the market as it is, not as you want it to be. That is the moment trading stops being a battle and becomes a process. My victory was not born from a breakthrough in analysis. It was born from a breakthrough in self-awareness. I learned that consistency is not a technique, it is a mindset. And the trader who masters his mind masters the market. Not because he controls it, because he no longer needs to. When traders first enter the markets, they are often obsessed with charts. They believe that every opportunity, every win, and every loss can be traced back to patterns on a screen. Candlesticks, trend lines, moving averages, Fibonacci retracements, RSI, MACD. These tools are studied endlessly, dissected meticulously, and followed religiously. The logic seems undeniable. If you can see the patterns, you can predict the outcomes. If you can analyze the signals correctly, the market will reward you. At first glance, this approach feels rational. After all, trading is about making decisions based on information, and charts are the primary source of that information. Yet, despite all the hours spent learning these tools, despite memorizing countless strategies and setups, many traders continue to struggle with consistency. They may experience occasional wins, but losses seem to come in equal measure, and the emotional roller coaster never ends. The problem is not the charts themselves. The problem is the belief that charts alone hold the key to success. The truth is that charts are merely reflections of price action. They are tools that show what has happened in the market, not what will happen next. They do not understand context, probability, or human psychology. They cannot interpret your fear, your impatience, or your overconfidence. A chart can show a support level, but it cannot prevent you from breaking your rules when the market tests that level. A chart can indicate a trend, but it cannot stop you from chasing the trend impulsively. A chart can give you an entry signal, but it cannot stop you from closing the trade early because of anxiety or ego. The charts are neutral. They are simply mirrors of market behavior. Your mindset is what determines whether you see those mirrors clearly or distort them through emotion and bias. The first step in understanding this principle is recognizing how much influence the mind has over trading outcomes. Every decision a trader makes comes from a psychological place. The same chart pattern can lead to completely different results for two traders, even if they follow the same strategy. Why? Because one trader approaches the pattern with discipline, patience, and confidence, while the other approaches it with fear, doubt, and impulsiveness. The charts themselves are powerless to create these differences. They are constant, predictable in structure, and impersonal. The variability arises entirely from the mind of the trader interpreting them. Another critical aspect is the impact of fear and greed on decision-making. Traders are often unaware of how much these emotions influence their actions. Fear can cause hesitation, leading to missed opportunities or premature exits. Greed can create overconfidence, resulting in overtrading or holding positions too long. These reactions are not dictated by the charts. They are dictated by the trader's psychological state. One can have a perfect setup in front of them, a signal that fits every criterion of a tested strategy, but if fear takes over, the opportunity is wasted. On the other hand, a trader who has cultivated mental resilience can execute the same setup flawlessly, without second guessing and without emotional interference. Discipline is another critical factor linked directly to mindset. Charts can never instill discipline. A moving average cannot prevent you from breaking your rules. A candlestick pattern cannot remind you to stick to your risk management plan. Discipline comes from repeated conscious choices, from building habits of sticking to a plan even when it is uncomfortable, even when the market seems to mock your decisions. It comes from creating mental frameworks that allow you to respond to the market objectively rather than reactively. The charts will continue to display signals regardless of your discipline level. If your mind is not aligned with your rules, the charts become irrelevant, and trading results will fluctuate wildly. Additionally, mindset determines how you handle uncertainty, which is the only constant in trading. No chart can predict every market movement. No strategy guarantees a win every time. The market is inherently probabilistic, and every trade carries risk. A trader with the right mindset understands this uncertainty and accepts it. They do not try to force certainty where there is none. Instead, they manage risk, control position sizing, and remain emotionally detached from individual outcomes. Conversely, a trader who relies solely on charts without cultivating this mindset will constantly fight the uncertainty. They will overanalyze signals, hesitate at critical moments, or abandon strategies at the first sign of adversity. Another subtle but important aspect is how mindset affects perception. Two traders looking at the same chart can see entirely different things based on their mental state. If a trader is anxious, they might interpret a minor retracement as a sign of disaster, missing the larger trend. If a trader is overconfident, they might see a minor pullback as an opportunity to enter recklessly, ignoring risk management rules. If a trader is disciplined and mentally focused, they can interpret the same market movements accurately, respond calmly, and execute their plan consistently. This demonstrates that charts alone do not create trading outcomes. The mind filters, interprets, and reacts to the data, creating the difference between success and failure. Finally, long-term consistency and success in trading require that mindset be developed as a primary skill. Strategies, indicators, and charts are secondary tools that assist execution. They are effective only when the trader's mental framework supports disciplined, objective, and emotionally balanced decision-making. Developing this mindset involves self-awareness, emotional regulation, acceptance of uncertainty, and a commitment to continuous improvement. It requires understanding personal tendencies, biases, and psychological triggers, and building systems to prevent them from sabotaging trading performance. The trader who masters their mind can see the charts for what they are, objective reflections of market behavior to be interpreted and acted upon rationally. Without this mastery, no chart, no matter how sophisticated, will consistently produce profitable results. Mindset also influences how traders learn from their experiences. Traders with a strong mental framework treat losses as data points, not personal failures. They analyze mistakes without ego, extract lessons, and adjust strategies accordingly. Traders who rely on charts without addressing mindset often react emotionally, blaming the market or the indicators, repeating the same mistakes, and becoming trapped in cycles of frustration. The charts remain constant, but their interpretation is clouded by emotion, preventing growth. Developing the right mindset transforms every trade into a learning opportunity, every loss into a lesson, and every win into reinforcement of disciplined behavior. In essence, charts are tools, not masters. They provide information, structure, and reference points, but they cannot shape behavior, control emotion, or create consistency. The trader's mind is the ultimate factor determining outcomes. Victory in trading is achieved not by chasing the perfect chart setup, not by memorizing the perfect strategy, and not by following every indicator blindly. It is achieved by cultivating a mindset that allows for emotional regulation, disciplined execution, acceptance of uncertainty, and objective perception. It is a mental state in which charts become clear reflections of market reality, strategies are executed with confidence, and losses are managed without panic or overreaction. This understanding fundamentally shifts how traders approach their work. It moves the focus from external signals to internal mastery. It encourages self-reflection over strategy hopping, emotional control over indicator obsession, and psychological resilience over reliance on technical perfection. When a trader internalizes this principle, the charts stop being the source of victory and instead become tools that support a mind already prepared to act with clarity, discipline, and balance. The market is an impartial teacher, and its lessons are rarely about technical patterns, indicators, or the perfect strategy. The real lesson it offers is one of psychology, revealing the deep, often hidden weaknesses in a trader's mind. Every losing trade, every impulsive decision, every missed opportunity is a reflection not of the charts themselves, but of the internal state of the trader. Many beginners enter the markets with the belief that gaps in their technical knowledge are the main reason for their losses. They think that if they could just understand patterns better, use more indicators, or find a more sophisticated strategy, consistent profitability would follow. While knowledge and skill are important, they are not sufficient. The market does not punish ignorance of patterns. It punishes the inability to manage one's own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Understanding how the market exposes psychological weaknesses requires acknowledging that trading is inherently uncertain. No one can predict every move or outcome. Each trade carries risk, and with risk comes the potential for fear, doubt, and hesitation. When a trader steps into a position, the charts may indicate a high probability scenario, but the mind interprets and responds to that probability in unique ways. One trader may see a minor pullback as an opportunity to add to a position with confidence, while another may view it as a looming disaster and exit prematurely. The difference is not in the charts, it is in how the mind processes information under uncertainty. Fear is perhaps the most obvious psychological weakness that the market exposes. When a trader fears losing, that fear can manifest in multiple ways: hesitation to enter a trade, early exits from positions, overprotective stop loss placement, or over-leveraging in an attempt to compensate for perceived missed opportunities. Fear distorts perception, creating an illusion of danger where there may be none and often causing traders to act against their own trading plans. The charts themselves remain neutral. They do not impose fear, but the trader's mind converts objective information into a subjective narrative filled with doubt and anxiety. By confronting and managing fear, traders gain clarity and the ability to make decisions that are consistent with their strategy rather than reactive to emotion. Greed is another psychological weakness that the market reveals. Traders may see a profitable trend and feel compelled to push beyond their planned risk. They hold on to winning trades for too long, chase momentum, or increase position sizes inappropriately. The charts provide signals, but they do not dictate the size of trades or when to exit. The mind, driven by desire for reward, interprets opportunity as a command to act without restraint. Recognizing the influence of greed is critical because it allows traders to create rules and systems that prevent emotional impulses from overriding rational decision-making. Those who ignore this internal influence often find that their largest gains can quickly turn into the largest losses. Impatience is another subtle psychological weakness that the market highlights. Many traders struggle to wait for the right setup or to allow a trade to develop fully. They may enter too early, exit too quickly, or constantly second-guess their decisions. Impatience is often masked by a desire for action, a belief that trading requires constant engagement to be effective. However, the most successful traders understand that patience is a form of discipline and that the ability to wait for conditions to align is far more valuable than any technical insight. The charts may offer clear signals, but without a mind capable of patience, even the clearest opportunities are mishandled. Overconfidence is another area where the market exposes psychological weaknesses. Traders who experience a streak of wins may begin to believe they have mastered the market, interpreting every signal as confirmation of their skill. This can lead to overtrading, taking unnecessary risks, or ignoring risk management rules. The market provides no feedback to correct arrogance until a loss occurs, often magnified by prior overconfidence. The charts themselves are impartial. It is the trader's mind that allows success to inflate ego and lead to mistakes. Recognizing and moderating overconfidence is essential for maintaining consistency and long-term success. Self-awareness is the antidote to many of the psychological weaknesses the market exposes. Traders who cultivate awareness can observe their emotions, recognize when fear or greed is influencing decisions, and create structures to prevent impulsive reactions. Journaling trades, reflecting on decisions, and monitoring emotional responses are methods of increasing self-awareness. By understanding personal tendencies, traders can adjust their approach, improving discipline and objectivity. The market acts as a mirror, reflecting both strengths and weaknesses, but only those with self-awareness can see these reflections clearly and learn from them. Consistency in trading is not achieved through perfect strategy or flawless chart reading. It is achieved through the mastery of psychological factors. Traders must accept that losses are part of the process and that no setup guarantees success. Accepting this reality prevents the mind from creating stories of injustice or personal failure every time a trade does not go as planned. The charts provide data, but the interpretation of that data is always filtered through the trader's psychological state. Emotional reactions can turn a minor setback into a disaster or allow a winning streak to erode due to overconfidence. Mastering these reactions is the key to achieving steady results. Risk management is deeply tied to psychological control. A trader may understand the technical reasoning for a stop loss or position size, but if the mind is ruled by fear, greed, or overconfidence, the rules are ignored. The market exposes these tendencies consistently because every trade is a stress test of emotional resilience. Over time, repeated failures to manage psychological weaknesses compound losses and reinforce negative patterns. Conversely, traders who develop mental discipline, emotional balance, and objective decision-making are able to follow risk management rules consistently, turning strategies that may seem mediocre into profitable outcomes. The market also exposes the inability to accept uncertainty. Every trader faces situations where the outcome is unknown, where probabilities are less than certainty, and where external events can change market dynamics in an instant. Traders who cannot tolerate this uncertainty often react impulsively, abandoning plans, overanalyzing signals, or avoiding trades altogether. The charts cannot remedy this. Only the mind can adapt to the inherent unpredictability of markets. Developing comfort with uncertainty allows traders to act confidently in ambiguous situations, maintaining clarity and discipline, even when the market does not behave as expected. Patterns of behavior become evident over time. The market repeatedly tests a trader's psychological limits, revealing habits, biases, and emotional triggers. This exposure is invaluable because it provides continuous feedback. Each trade is a data point, not just in price movement, but in psychological performance. Traders who recognize this treat each trade as a mirror, examining not only the market outcome, but their response to it. They learn to separate performance from emotion, outcome from judgment, and observation from reaction. By addressing these psychological weaknesses, they transform the market from a source of frustration into a source of personal insight and growth. Ultimately, the market is less about predicting price and more about understanding self. Technical knowledge and chart patterns are necessary tools, but they are insufficient without psychological control. The market exposes weaknesses such as fear, greed, impatience, overconfidence, and lack of self-awareness. Each trade provides feedback on these traits, allowing for continuous adjustment and growth. Traders who ignore these lessons remain at the mercy of their emotions, while those who acknowledge and manage them create consistency, clarity, and resilience. Recognizing that the market's greatest teacher is the mind shifts the focus from external signals to internal mastery, revealing that every challenge in trading is a reflection of the trader's psychological state rather than a flaw in the charts. Emotional resilience, discipline, and awareness become the foundation for interpreting charts effectively. Without these mental attributes, even the most sophisticated technical analysis becomes ineffective, as the mind misinterprets signals or acts impulsively. The market does not reward the technically clever alone. It rewards the psychologically prepared. The charts remain constant, but the outcome depends entirely on the trader's ability to navigate the internal landscape, managing biases, emotions, and reactions. Emotional balance is often spoken about in trading, yet it is rarely understood in its full depth. Many traders believe that Success comes from having the perfect strategy, the most accurate indicators, or the clearest chart patterns. They dedicate countless hours to technical analysis, backtesting strategies, and memorizing setups, hoping that these actions alone will produce consistent results. While these tools are essential for structuring trades and making informed decisions, they are insufficient if the trader cannot maintain emotional equilibrium. Emotions are the invisible force that dictates how every trade is executed, how rules are followed, and how losses and gains are processed. Without emotional balance, even the most precise technical plan can fail because the trader allows feelings of fear, greed, or frustration to override objective decision-making. The first step in understanding the importance of emotional balance is recognizing how emotions manifest in trading behavior. Fear and greed are the most obvious, but impatience, overconfidence, and anxiety are equally powerful. Fear causes hesitation, often preventing traders from taking valid trades or forcing them to exit too early. Greed can lead to overtrading, excessive risk-taking, or holding positions longer than planned. Impatience pushes traders to enter setups prematurely, ignore their criteria, or deviate from their strategy. Overconfidence may create reckless trades or ignoring market conditions, while anxiety can paralyze decision-making or cause overcompensation in risk management. Each of these emotional reactions occurs independently of the chart, the indicators, or the strategy. They are generated entirely by the trader's internal state. Emotional balance is what allows a trader to act objectively in the presence of these powerful impulses. It is the mental framework that ensures decisions are based on analysis and planning rather than reactive feelings. A trader with emotional balance approaches the market with a clear mind, able to accept that losses are inevitable, that no trade is guaranteed, and that uncertainty is an intrinsic part of the process. This mindset enables the trader to respond to market conditions rationally, executing strategies consistently and adjusting only when logic dictates, not when emotion demands. Emotional balance turns the act of trading from a reactionary process into a disciplined execution of a well-thought-out plan. One of the most profound impacts of emotional imbalance is on risk management. A trader may know exactly how much capital to risk on a trade, where to place a stop loss, and how to size positions appropriately. However, when fear or greed takes over, these rules are often ignored. Fear may cause a trader to tighten stops unnecessarily, exiting trades prematurely and missing potential gains. Greed may lead to over-leveraging, risking far more than planned in pursuit of larger profits. Emotional imbalance transforms objective risk management into subjective guessing, undermining both discipline and consistency. Emotional balance restores control, allowing the trader to adhere to risk parameters without hesitation or deviation. Another way emotional balance manifests is in handling the outcomes of trades. Every trader will experience both wins and losses, and the psychological response to these outcomes profoundly affects future performance. A trader without emotional balance may become euphoric after a win, leading to overconfidence and reckless behavior, or devastated after a loss, leading to revenge trading or fear-driven avoidance of valid opportunities. Emotional balance allows a trader to treat each outcome as information rather than judgment, extracting lessons from losses and maintaining discipline after wins. It creates the ability to separate self-worth from trading results, which is crucial for maintaining consistency and mental clarity. Emotional balance also affects perception and interpretation of the market. Two traders may look at the same chart pattern and see entirely different scenarios based on their emotional state. Anxiety may exaggerate potential risks, turning minor fluctuations into signals of disaster. Overconfidence may distort probabilities, convincing the trader that success is inevitable and risks are minimal. Emotional balance enables objective assessment of market conditions, allowing the trader to interpret data accurately, make informed decisions, and avoid distortions caused by internal turbulence. Developing emotional balance requires self-awareness, practice, and discipline. It is not something achieved overnight or by reading a single book. It involves monitoring emotional responses, identifying triggers, and implementing strategies to prevent emotions from influencing decisions. Techniques such as journaling trades, reflecting on emotional reactions, and establishing clear trading rules help cultivate awareness. Additionally, mindfulness, meditation, and other mental training techniques can enhance focus, reduce impulsivity, and promote calmness in stressful situations. The more a trader invests in developing emotional balance, the more consistently they can execute their plans and respond appropriately to market conditions. Emotional balance also fosters patience, a critical yet often overlooked trait in trading. Many traders struggle with waiting for the right setup, constantly seeking action, or feeling pressure to be active in the market. Impatience can lead to entering trades that do not meet all criteria, taking unnecessary risks, or abandoning strategies prematurely. Emotional balance provides the mental clarity to wait, observe, and act only when conditions align with a tested plan. It transforms waiting from a source of frustration into a strategic advantage, allowing the trader to capitalize on opportunities that others may miss due to impulsive behavior. Additionally, emotional balance enhances the ability to handle uncertainty. Trading is inherently probabilistic, no outcome is guaranteed, and external events can change the market in an instant. A trader with strong emotional equilibrium can tolerate ambiguity, accept the inherent risk, and act without panic or impulsivity. This tolerance reduces reactive behavior, allows for consistent application of strategy, and prevents emotional decision-making that can erode performance. Without emotional balance, uncertainty triggers fear, doubt, or overcompensation, resulting in inconsistent execution and unnecessary losses. The long-term effects of emotional imbalance are cumulative. Traders who do not address fear, greed, impatience, and overconfidence tend to repeat the same mistakes, creating cycles of frustration and inconsistency. Emotional turbulence undermines confidence, erodes discipline, and distorts perception. Conversely, cultivating emotional balance builds resilience. Traders become capable of executing strategies reliably, learning from each trade, and adapting without being influenced by transient emotions. Over time, this resilience transforms the trader's approach from reactive to proactive, from chaotic to systematic, and from inconsistent to consistently disciplined. Emotional balance also influences decision-making under stress. Markets are unpredictable, and volatility can trigger intense emotional responses. A trader without equilibrium may react impulsively to spikes in price, sudden news, or unexpected market events. Emotional balance provides the ability to maintain composure, analyze objectively, and respond according to the trading plan, rather than reacting to fear or excitement. It allows the trader to remain focused on probability, risk management, and strategy execution even in the face of high-pressure situations, turning potential chaos into controlled opportunity. Finally, emotional balance is the cornerstone of sustainable trading performance. Strategies, indicators, and technical analysis provide structure, but they cannot compensate for poor emotional control. The trader who masters emotional balance is able to interpret signals correctly, execute consistently, manage risk effectively, and maintain perspective under stress. They are not immune to losses or mistakes, but they have the resilience and clarity to handle them without derailing performance. Emotional balance turns trading from a high-stress guessing game into a disciplined practice grounded in clarity, objectivity, and self-control. The importance of emotional balance extends to how traders approach improvement and growth. Traders with emotional equilibrium can analyze their performance objectively, learn from mistakes without judgment, and refine strategies without being swayed by ego or frustration. Those lacking balance often fall into cycles of blame, excuse-making, or impulsive change, undermining long-term development. Emotional balance provides the mental framework for continuous improvement, allowing traders to evolve, adapt, and enhance their performance over time. Ultimately, emotional balance is not an optional skill for traders. It is the foundation upon which all other abilities are built. Technical knowledge, strategy development, and chart analysis are important, but they are powerless without the mental stability to execute them correctly. Emotional balance ensures that decisions are based on logic, discipline, and strategy rather than reaction, fear, or desire. It allows traders to act consistently, perceive the market clearly, manage risk effectively, and grow steadily as market participants. The more a trader cultivates emotional balance, the more consistently they are able to translate technical insights into profitable outcomes, turning the internal mastery of self into the key driver of external success. Consistency in trading is often spoken about as if it were a simple outcome of having the right strategy, the best indicators, or access to superior information. Many new traders believe that once they discover the perfect system, profits will follow naturally, and every trade will align with their expectations. They spend countless hours analyzing charts, testing setups and studying market patterns, convinced that technical mastery alone will produce reliable results. While technical skill and market knowledge are necessary, they are not sufficient to achieve consistent profitability. True consistency arises from self-awareness and disciplined thinking, from understanding one's own psychological tendencies and creating a mental framework that supports rational, repeatable decision-making. The trader who masters these internal processes experiences consistency, while the one who relies solely on external factors is left at the mercy of emotional impulses and cognitive biases. The foundation of consistent trading is self-awareness. This means understanding your own reactions, tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses in the context of the market. Every trader has biases, emotional triggers, and habitual behaviors that influence decision-making. Without recognizing these, even a technically sound plan can be sabotaged. For instance, a trader who fears missing out may enter trades prematurely or overtrade during periods of low probability setups. A trader who struggles with impatience may exit trades too early, cutting potential profits. Self-awareness allows a trader to identify these patterns, observe them without judgment, and implement systems to mitigate their impact. It transforms the approach to trading from reactive to proactive, from being driven by emotion to being guided by rational principles. Discipline is the second pillar of consistency. Discipline is the ability to follow a set of rules or a strategy faithfully, regardless of how the market moves or how the trader feels in the moment. Emotional impulses often conflict with disciplined behavior. Fear may prompt an early exit, greed may encourage over-leveraging, frustration may lead to revenge trading. A disciplined trader recognizes these impulses and adheres to the predefined rules of their plan. Discipline is not innate, it is cultivated through repeated conscious practice. Each trade becomes an exercise in reinforcing disciplined behavior. Over time, this habitual adherence to rules develops into consistency because the trader's behavior aligns with strategy rather than being dictated by transient emotional states. Another aspect of consistency is the ability to manage expectations realistically. Many traders fall into the trap of believing that each trade must be profitable, that every decision must be perfect, and that losses are a sign of failure. This mindset creates volatility in behavior. Traders may abandon strategies at the first sign of adversity, double down impulsively to chase losses, or constantly adjust setups in search of perfection. A self-aware, disciplined trader, on the other hand, understands that losses are inevitable, that no strategy guarantees success, and that the market operates probabilistically. This understanding allows them to maintain consistent execution, taking trades according to plan and managing outcomes rationally rather than reacting emotionally to temporary setbacks. The process of learning from mistakes is also central to consistent trading. A trader who approaches errors with curiosity and objectivity uses each loss as data for improvement rather than as an emotional trigger. This requires separating personal identity from trading outcomes. When a trader equates losses with personal failure, emotional responses are heightened, leading to inconsistent decisions and behavioral patterns that sabotage performance. Self-aware traders recognize the distinction between behavior and result. They analyze what went wrong in the execution, assess whether rules were followed, and refine their approach without letting ego or frustration dictate future actions. This reflective process strengthens the mental framework and reinforces consistency over time. Consistency is further supported by the ability to handle uncertainty and ambiguity. Markets are inherently unpredictable, and no strategy or analysis can remove the element of chance from every trade. Traders who cannot tolerate uncertainty often react impulsively, making decisions based on fear, hope, or overconfidence rather than strategy. Self-awareness allows a trader to recognize these reactions, while disciplined thinking enables them to act according to plan despite uncertainty. Acceptance of probabilistic outcomes is critical. It allows the trader to remain steady when trades do not go as anticipated, avoiding erratic behavior that disrupts long-term consistency. Risk management is another key factor intertwined with self-awareness and disciplined thinking. Knowing how much to risk on each trade, where to place stop losses, and how to size positions appropriately is essential, but it requires a disciplined mindset to apply consistently. Traders with weak self-awareness may misjudge their risk tolerance, over-leveraging during streaks of confidence, or underutilizing capital due to fear. They may also deviate from stop-loss rules when confronted with emotional pressure. Self-awareness enables accurate assessment of risk tolerance, while disciplined thinking ensures that rules are applied without deviation. reinforcing consistent behavior across a wide range of market conditions. Emotional regulation plays a crucial role in consistency as well. The mind reacts to wins, losses, volatility, and unexpected events, with feelings ranging from euphoria to fear, from frustration to despair. These emotional reactions can disrupt rational thinking, causing impulsive entries, premature exits, or deviation from strategy. A self-aware trader recognizes emotional triggers, while disciplined thinking allows them to respond according to rules rather than impulses. Techniques such as mental rehearsal, journaling, mindfulness, and structured routines help in developing emotional control, which in turn stabilizes decision-making and promotes consistent execution. Patterns of behavior, once recognized, can be systematized into repeatable processes. Consistent traders do not rely on memory or improvisation. They create checklists, rules, and criteria that guide their decisions. This systematization reduces the impact of emotional impulses and cognitive biases, ensuring that trades are taken according to strategy rather than reaction. Over time, these habits become second nature, and consistency becomes the default state rather than an effortful endeavor. Another factor that contributes to consistency is the ability to maintain focus and concentration. The market is full of distractions, news events, opinions of other traders, social media, and psychological stressors. Maintaining mental clarity allows a trader to filter noise, adhere to rules, and evaluate setups objectively. Self-awareness helps identify when focus is compromised, and disciplined thinking ensures the trader does not act on distraction or external pressure. This combination of internal clarity and structured behavior supports consistent execution and reduces the risk of impulsive or emotional decisions. Long-term consistency is also about adaptability without deviation from core principles. Markets evolve, trends shift, and volatility changes. Traders who are rigid in application of outdated methods may fail, while those who adjust their approach intelligently, guided by self-awareness and disciplined thinking, maintain steady performance. Consistent traders observe changes, assess relevance, and make calculated adjustments without abandoning their psychological framework. This adaptability, rooted in awareness and discipline, allows them to navigate varying market conditions while maintaining predictable, reliable performance. Consistency is not a product of luck or temporary success. It is the outcome of sustained self-awareness, disciplined thinking, and emotional regulation applied over time. It requires recognizing psychological tendencies, creating systems to mitigate weaknesses, managing risk rationally, and executing strategy without deviation. Traders who focus solely on external factors, charts, signals, or technical setups without developing this internal framework experience erratic results as behavior fluctuates according to emotion and circumstance. Conversely, traders who cultivate self-awareness and disciplined thinking create an internal environment where decisions are reliable, execution is steady, and outcomes are governed by probability and strategy rather than psychological reaction. The process of building consistency is iterative and continuous. Each trade provides feedback on behavior, decision-making, and emotional responses. By analyzing these elements objectively, traders refine their mental framework, reinforce disciplined habits, and strengthen self-awareness. This cycle of reflection and adjustment transforms raw experience into reliable performance. Over time, consistency becomes not only a measure of execution but a reflection of psychological mastery, demonstrating that the key to sustained success lies not in the market itself, but in the trader's ability to maintain a disciplined and self-aware approach across all conditions. Consistency is further reinforced by the creation of routines and systems that support rational decision-making. Pre-trade analysis, checklists, journaling, and review sessions reduce the influence of transient emotions and mental fatigue. These systems act as external extensions of self-discipline, allowing traders to execute strategies predictably even under stress. Self-awareness ensures that these routines align with personal strengths and weaknesses, while disciplined thinking ensures adherence regardless of market volatility or emotional state. Through this combination, consistency becomes an achievable and repeatable result, built on the foundation of internal mastery rather than reliance on external signals alone. Victory in trading is rarely achieved by attempting to control the market itself. Many new traders approach the charts with the belief that success comes from predicting every move, timing every entry perfectly, and capturing every profit opportunity. They analyze candlestick patterns, indicators, moving averages, and trend lines, believing that mastery of these external tools will result in consistent wins. While technical analysis and strategy development are important, they are only part of the equation. The real determinant of long-term success lies not in the charts, the signals, or the indicators, but in the trader's ability to control their own mind. It is the internal environment, the mindset, that governs decision-making, discipline, emotional regulation, and the ability to consistently execute a trading plan. The first step in understanding this principle is acknowledging the role of psychological factors in trading outcomes. Every trade involves a choice, and each choice is influenced by the trader's beliefs, emotions, and cognitive biases. Fear, greed, impatience, overconfidence, and frustration are common emotional responses that affect judgment. For example, fear can prevent a trader from entering a high-probability setup, cause premature exits, or lead to overly conservative risk management that diminishes profitability. Greed can push traders to take excessive risks, hold positions too long, or deviate from their plan in pursuit of larger gains. These psychological tendencies are not dictated by the market, but by the trader's internal state. Charts may provide information, but they cannot control these emotional reactions. Discipline is another critical aspect of mindset that determines victory in trading. A trader may have a profitable strategy and the clearest signals, but without discipline, rules will be ignored and trades will be executed inconsistently. Discipline involves adherence to risk management, position sizing, entry and exit criteria, and timing, even when emotions are urging otherwise. Impulsive decisions driven by fear, hope, or excitement can quickly undermine even the most carefully constructed strategies. Traders with strong discipline, supported by a well-developed mindset, act according to plan, respond rationally to changing market conditions, and maintain consistent behavior that aligns with long-term objectives rather than short-term impulses. Self-awareness is equally vital. Understanding one's own strengths, weaknesses, emotional triggers, and behavioral tendencies allows traders to create systems that mitigate errors and enhance performance. Without self-awareness, a trader may continually repeat mistakes, misinterpret market signals, or react unpredictably to volatility. For instance, a trader prone to revenge trading may attempt to recoup losses immediately, ignoring strategy or risk management. A self-aware trader recognizes these tendencies and implements safeguards such as structured routines, checklists, or predefined rules to maintain objectivity. Victory comes when the trader learns to navigate the market as it is, without being sabotaged by their own internal biases. Another factor that underscores the importance of mindset is the ability to manage risk rationally. Risk management is not solely about calculating position size or placing stop losses. It is about managing emotional exposure as well. When a trader's mind is unstable, losses can provoke panic, forcing impulsive reactions that amplify risk and damage capital. Similarly, winning streaks can induce overconfidence, leading to oversized positions or reckless entries. A balanced mindset allows the trader to view risk probabilistically, accept the inevitability of losses, and adhere to established rules. Risk is therefore managed not just technically but psychologically, preventing emotions from compromising judgment and enabling consistent execution. Emotional regulation is another cornerstone of victory. Trading is inherently stressful, markets move unpredictably, and outcomes are uncertain. Without emotional control, traders may respond to market movements with reactive behavior, abandoning strategies, overtrading, or exiting trades prematurely. A trader with emotional balance can observe market developments objectively, respond rationally to price action, and maintain composure under pressure. Emotions become signals rather than drivers of behavior, allowing the trader to act deliberately, execute plans consistently, and maintain confidence in their methodology regardless of short-term outcomes. The mindset also influences perception and interpretation of market information. Two traders may view the same chart pattern or indicator, yet interpret it differently based on their internal state. Anxiety may exaggerate risk, prompting avoidance of trades, while overconfidence may distort probabilities, prompting reckless decisions. A trader with a disciplined and balanced mindset interprets data objectively, recognizing probability rather than certainty, and making decisions aligned with strategy rather than emotion. This clarity of perception transforms information from charts into actionable insights and prevents subjective biases from undermining execution. Patience is another element of mindset that plays a pivotal role in trading success. Many traders struggle with impatience, entering trades prematurely, exiting too early, or constantly seeking action in the market. Impatience often leads to overtrading, missed opportunities, or suboptimal trade entries. A strong mindset allows the trader to wait for the right conditions, observe the market carefully, and act only when criteria are met. This patience is not passive. It is a conscious, disciplined decision that reflects confidence in strategy and a rational approach to probability. Through patience, traders avoid impulsive decisions and maximize the likelihood of capturing favorable outcomes. Mindset also governs adaptability, which is essential in the ever-changing market environment. Markets are dynamic, trends shift, volatility fluctuates, and external events can disrupt normal patterns. Traders who are rigid in their approach or overly attached to specific outcomes may fail to adapt, while those with a flexible and resilient mindset adjust intelligently without abandoning core principles. Adaptability allows traders to respond to new conditions while maintaining psychological stability and discipline, ensuring that performance is not disrupted by market variability. Long-term victory in trading is inseparable from consistency, which itself is a product of mindset. The trader who can maintain disciplined execution, emotional balance, and self-awareness over time experiences results that compound. Short-term losses do not provoke panic, short-term wins do not induce arrogance, and each trade becomes a repeatable application of skill rather than a gamble influenced by mood or circumstance. Victory, therefore, is less about predicting the market and more about controlling one's behavior, responses, and thought processes consistently over time. Reflection and learning are also key components of a victorious mindset. Traders who analyze trades objectively, evaluate decision-making, and refine their strategies continuously develop a mental edge. Losses are treated as data points, not personal failures. Wins reinforce discipline and adherence to process rather than feeding ego. This reflective practice strengthens mental resilience, sharpens decision-making, and enhances the ability to execute under pressure. The market becomes a feedback system that rewards psychological mastery rather than purely technical skill. The interplay between mindset and execution is critical. A trader with the best strategies but a weak mindset is prone to inconsistency, emotional reactivity, and poor risk management. Conversely, a trader with a strong mindset but modest technical skill can achieve superior results because their decisions are executed with discipline, patience, and clarity. Mindset provides the internal structure that allows strategies to function effectively, ensuring that technical tools are applied correctly and consistently rather than sporadically or impulsively. Mindset also influences confidence in decision-making. Traders with a stable, disciplined mental framework trust their process, understand the probabilistic nature of the market, and execute trades without hesitation. They are not paralyzed by fear of loss or distracted by greed for profit. This confidence is not arrogance, it is the result of rigorous self-awareness, emotional regulation, and adherence to a tested methodology. Confidence derived from mindset enables decisive action, which is essential for capitalizing on opportunities and managing trades effectively. Victory in trading is therefore the culmination of psychological mastery rather than technical perfection. It emerges from the ability to manage emotions, execute consistently, maintain discipline, tolerate uncertainty, interpret information objectively, and adapt to changing conditions. Each of these elements is governed by mindset, not by charts, indicators, or external signals. The charts provide information, but it is the trader's mental state that determines how that information is interpreted, decisions are made, and trades are executed. Success is achieved not by attempting to control external outcomes, but by mastering the internal processes that govern behavior in the face of uncertainty. Ultimately, a victorious trader recognizes that the market is a reflection of probability and behavior, not a puzzle to be solved with technical tools alone. Charts and analysis are necessary to inform decisions, but they do not dictate success. The trader's mind, their mindset, is the ultimate determinant of performance. By cultivating self-awareness, emotional balance, discipline, patience, adaptability, and confidence, a trader transforms external market information into consistently executed action. It is this internal mastery, rather than the charts themselves, that creates the conditions for victory, shaping behavior, guiding decisions, and enabling sustained success in the inherently uncertain environment of trading.